Cast your mind way back when Meghan Markle, just around the time of the release of that Forces for Change thing with the Vogue magazine, put together not by her at all, but by the editorial team over at Vogue. Meghan was literally just a figurehead, offering things that were useless, no ideas, didn't really fit in with the remit. And if you speak to people, as I have, that have now left that publication, that was an absolute nightmare to work on. More about that in the future, let me tell you. But of course, don't forget, around this time, Meghan literally was releasing that particular thing. Remember? The Bench. And this was part of the deal that Penguin Random House, put together to secure Prince Harry. The idea really was to make sure that he came on board. And bottom line, really, if you think about it again, was the fact that if they could get a full book deal from him, then if they had to put up with this badly written story, although the illustrations were nice, from his wife Meghan, well, then they'd do it. And that's exactly what they did. Now, moving forward, as you know, Meghan Markle likes to see herself good at every single thing. She's brilliant at everything. It's us that don't understand the brilliant mindset that she has, the genius behind exactly what she can do. Everything. She can make TV programs, she can write, she can cook, she can do anything that you want. And she never really understood why the British monarchy couldn't understand her ideas for modernising the monarchy and making it monetary. After all, she knew how to do things. She'd run the TIG. She'd been in a bit part TV series, Suits, so you understand. Now, recently she made another bid to basically try and secure some money, and this has really left her stunned. Let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a lovely wave, and as ever, lovely to have your company. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Last year, I know I'm calling it last year now, but this year, 2024, earlier on, if you remember, Harry and Meghan sat down for their very first joint interview with the CBS show Sunday Morning. And the weird thing about that was it was a rambling mess as usual. Meghan, there she was talking about, grief and how difficult it was and all that sort of stuff. Social media. It should have been about the wonderful people that had gone through such heartache themselves. But guess what? Meghan managed once again to turn this into the Meghan Markle show, all about her, while Prince Harry sat idly on, only being allowed to speak like a ventriloquist dummy when she allowed it. She was working him seemingly with her foot. And if you remember, she put that hand lovingly on his thigh to reassure him or tell him when he was allowed to speak, because Meghan had something to say. If you remember, when, of course, the interviewer decided to touch upon Meghan's own terrible journey of depression and, all that sort of stuff, well, she'd only begun to scratch the surface. And she hoped by announcing that in the world's media that that was going to have a plethora of people banging at the Montecito mansion, offering her money to tell her terrible story about her short time within the monarchy. You see, she'd never mentioned depression or suicidal thoughts before, all, of course, in that terrible world of media and acting, which is the most rejection sort of laden business in the world. It is brutal if you're in there. But no, nothing could compare to her time inside the royal life. Now, fast forward a few months, and apparently she had hoped that that book deal would be reactivated. Penguin Random House have rejected the idea, fearing that, well, actually, given the fact that you can't seemingly stick to the same story, then we're not too bothered. And other publishers may have been interested, but are certainly not offering the big books that Meghan Markle felt that she was ready to spill. It wasn't going to be a tell-all book either, let me tell you. This was going to be Meghan's self-help book, about a book that was going to guide you through the dark moments in life that she'd gone through. All the meanwhile in stiletto designer heels, you understand. And so far, Meghan has been left bereft at the idea, well, why has nobody come forward? Surely my story's interesting. It may be if it had an element of truth, but so far no publisher is willing to risk roughing out again the idea that, well, if Meghan comes out with this particular story, how many people will counteract it? And without the juice of the royal story behind it, then it's Meghan's life, her version of events. And we all know how well they play out, right? Neil Sean, Kensington, London.